Hi guys, it's William again. I had some questions regarding what Hyaline Glass is, so I thought I'd tell you guys the history of it and exactly what it does, even though I can't really explain exactly what it does. I can at least give you a good idea. Back in the 50s, my grandpa was a experimental metallurgist at Aerojet, and this was during a time period when they were experimenting with all sorts of different fuels and whatnot, and one of the fuels that was in the race had the tendency of getting, I guess, like blue-green algae in it. It wasn't really blue-green algae, it was some sort of bacterial, but it was organic in nature, and if any got in, it would have ruined the fuel. So, and they couldn't just open up the top and look in either, so what they did is they ended up putting portholes in the side of the storage containers, and putting this glass in it, and then they would set up cameras to look through this glass. I know it looks black right now because the sensitive end is taped up here. They would look through this glass, set up cameras, and take long exposures, bombarding it with UV light, and usually it was apparently easy to see where that was or if it was infected or not. So anyway, they messed around with this fuel for a while. They ended up going with Aerozine 50 instead, and they scrapped this project. And like any good government contract, they just threw everything out back, and of course got money from the government to do it all again. And back in the day, this wasn't an uncommon practice. I mean, it's how I got this Vernier rocket from a Minuteman nuclear missile, and I've got all sorts of other crap at home too that my dad brought home. Anyway, they destroyed most of the glass and they destroyed most of the container units, but my grandpa brought home two pieces of glass. This is one of them. This is kind of the messed up one, which is why it isn't in the camera lens right there. And brought them home and built a unit. It's kind of like this. I need to go grab the original one. I'll show you guys that later. This is the glass out of that one. Brought them home and set up a tripod in the house, actually looking out over his tomato garden. And what he would do is he'd take long exposures during the day of his tomato garden, and he could see which plants were getting more artificial fertilizer than others, just by how dark they were, apparently. I don't have any of the pictures that he took. I think my dad does. So anyway, he would take long exposures of his tomatoes, and he would pick the tomatoes that weren't the most, that were the cleanest, I guess you could call it, and that's what he did. So I got his notebook. This is one of his old notebooks regarding this, and I decided that I'm gonna take this stuff and build my own camera and go out and take pictures and see if I could see what he was talking about. They called this Hyaline Glass. Hyaline is a word that I don't know how it applies to this. It may be just an engineer's joke or something like that. It may not even be the original name of it, but I grew up knowing it as Hyaline Composite glass. We had stuff like this all over the house. These might be the only two pieces left in the world of this stuff, so hopefully I can get some good pictures out of it and see if I can, well, I don't really know what I'm looking for. I'll just see what's going on. I'll probably start by taking pictures off my balcony, and then maybe I'll go out into the woods. But yeah, that's what this stuff is. Hopefully I'll get good pictures, and maybe that explains a little bit exactly what I'm going for here. Alright.